Nice to see you all. Now we can start. Perfect.
Good. Well, we wrote in the newsletter, in the invitation, a few reflections on different areas in life where we might feel stuck sometimes. And so we prepared a text today that speaks a little bit about that, and both about feeling stuck, but then also even more so about the underlying reason, essentially, why many of us feel stuck with different decisions in life is because we're looking for happiness and for fulfillment in all the things that we could do and have and be in the future, instead of discovering the gold that's right here. So we'll be sharing a text that will speak about the gold, the ultimate happiness that's right here in every moment.
Ultimate happiness. If we look deeply into our own experience, we can see that the attainment of the things that many of us have sought, money, power, prestige, relationships, has never led to ultimate happiness. No matter how much we have of any of them, it has somehow never seemed to be exactly right. Even if we got the perfect job, the perfect car, the perfect partner, the perfect food, perfect vacation, the perfect place to live, none of this would ensure our happiness.
We can see by simply looking around us that having all these things does not bring about complete happiness for people. What is more, there may be people who have none of those things who are bright and shining and totally happy. So we can say that any particular datum has anything to do with bringing about our ultimate happiness.
It may be that we're presently healthy, prosperous, and secure, but our physical circumstances could change at any moment. This is true about our own physical body and all other circumstances in our lives. Not a single thing is permanent. Even if we did have all the things we desired, we know that at any moment they could all be snatched away. As a result, there is an underlying feeling of anxiety because we know we can never trust completely in the things we acquire. We could continue to try to get more and more of them, but the underlying anxiety wouldn't leave us.
There's never a moment when all of our data will be set right, except in the total completeness of the here and now. True stability and confidence are found only in open intelligence, which is the basis of everything. The crystal clarity of what is spontaneously self-releasing and which can never be grasped, caught, or measured is what will give us the complete satisfaction we seek.
If we're feeling lost, confused, and depressed, we need to rely on open intelligence alone. We rely on that which is seeing the confusion and loss. The confusion and what sees the confusion, the depression and what sees the depression, the lostness and what sees the lostness, all are inseparable. The scene is equally in disturbance as it is in no disturbance.
Relax and enjoy life. When we have done everything and we no longer need anything, and there isn't anything whatsoever that can pull on us in any way, then we have come to absolute completeness.
When we stop for a moment and consider our life, how much of it has been spent running from one experience to another, hoping to find some kind of comfort? For example, we get up in the morning and let's say that we feel foggy or half asleep, so we run for a cup of coffee or some other kind of pick-me-up to change what we feel. Then we look at the people around the breakfast table. We may start thinking about their shortcomings or why we don't want to be there with them at that moment. Or we start feeling guilty because we've been thinking about their shortcomings and not wanting to be with them. And we try to relieve ourselves of that guilt by being nice to them.
When we go to work and we have to face the wild and woolly array of different personalities that we find there, we often feel powerless and helpless in the face of the challenges we have in the workplace. During the day, we are thinking about some kind of pleasant state that we can get into that won't involve the state we are currently in. So we start thinking about what it will be like when we get off work. Then we are thinking about how nice it would be if we could retire.
At the end of the day, we get off work, but things aren't yet what we had hoped they would be. So we think, I'll have a drink or a joint or watch TV or go to the movies or try out that new restaurant. Then, of course, there's always sex. All the while, we are seeking the next experience that will make us feel better.
The very best thing we can do for ourselves is to live life with a 100% commitment to open intelligence. Until we begin living as open intelligence, we will have so many expectations of how life needs to change. But when we have that commitment to open intelligence, less and less will we need to rely on trying to change things.
When the need to change ourselves and our circumstances is completely resolved and there is no longer a focus on a self-centered existence, then it's seen that the self-centered existence never was anything fixed or solid. By recognizing our natural beneficial being, the self-obsession that was once so prevalent is no longer to be found, and instead the desire to be of benefit in a very natural way pours forth.
Relax for a short moment and enjoy life. Don't beat yourself up with all the descriptions you've learned about what you need or what you need to be. When ideas come up, oh, I'm unemployed, or I'm employed, I'm successful, I'm not successful, I need to change this, I need to change that. Relax and see that everything as it is and that there is nothing to change.
Tremendous energy and vitality. When we allow the relief and ease of open intelligence, then we have tremendous energy and vitality. We're an easeful and effortless source of energy, love, and clarity that never gets tied up in conventions of any kind. It leaves all convention behind, no matter how established the tradition may be.
There is a complete understanding of all the conventional descriptions and an ability to operate within them with great ease, without any need to rely on them exclusively. What is beyond all systems, all approaches, all methods, and all practices becomes clear to us through gaining familiarity with our own open intelligence in a very direct and straightforward way.
Whatever our own data are, they are the basis for our realization of open intelligence. When we're no longer limited by our data, we become a source of immediate benefit to ourselves and to others. We no longer need to rely on other people making things okay for us. And we don't get caught up in making our other people feel burdened because of what has happened to us in our lives.
There aren't any tricks or gimmicks, methods or practices that are needed. Each one of us is given whatever we need. Free-flowing wisdom is naturally responsive in a very direct and loving way to every single person. By the words spoken and the energy present, each person feels responded to in a deeply personal way. When we know who we are, we have the capacity to love others unconditionally. That's really amazing, but that's what complete, totally open love is. There never is anything else that is required for living life. Yeah, maybe you want to comment a bit and share.
Sure. Why not? Hi, Wayne.
Hi.
maybe I can wrap Wayne into a quick conversation here. I don't think we've met, have we, Wayne?
No, I've been on one other call a month or so ago, but I don't think you were on the call.
Mm. Good. Well, it's nice to have you with us.
Thanks.
How did you find out about this? Did you have a particular background or experience with what we're talking about that brought you here?
Yeah, I discovered Candace's teachings several years ago. Many decades ago, I experienced oneness, and then I realized that it was this open intelligence, this awareness that was really the key, not the experience. And so I've really been interested in practicing in just being open intelligence more often, if you will, and set little random reminders, But I still want to be better at that, even though I know that regardless, open intelligence is still the actual case. Just seems like I want to practice more. I don't know how to say it any differently than that.
Oh no, you did. That was that was so perfect. And I mean, what a relief, first of all, to know that whether recognized or not, open intelligence is present, right? I mean, that is such a
Yeah,
boon for somebody who is interested in, and passionate about this. And it sounds like this has been the case for you for quite a while. So this is great.
it has. I've also found the Buddhist text, which you all probably know, the precious treasury of the basic space of phenomena, which speaks to this very thing in a slightly different way. And yeah, I see that this open intelligence, awareness, whichever term, is constantly, it is the fact regardless of what seems to be happening. But again, there's just a desire to be more fully conscious of that in every moment rather than a little here and there.
Yeah, I can relate. And yeah, maybe we can share a little bit about our experience there, Kati, and potentially even from others. That would be nice. It's such, because ultimately this is the only reason why we're here, right? And practicing together. And you mentioned this beautiful translation of one of Longchem Rabjam's texts, of the treasuries, and what your experience is there. Just again, by reading this, what this evokes is, of course, that recognition within us, right? It's like looking in a mirror and seeing ourselves, and having the direct experience, and then looking at a text like this is, you may have heard the term the Four Mainstays in what we're sharing about here. And literature, media, yeah, is one of that, like basically having a support to stabilize the recognition of open intelligence, not open intelligence itself, which is stable in itself, right? It's just our recognition of it. And in a way, we're on this like journey through our human experience, and every moment provides a new opportunity for that recognition. And the Four Mainstays basically support us in having more reminders, you could say, in our life, and more assurance. It's like sometimes it's just the forgetting. Simply, we're just absorbed in whatever we're doing. We're not even remembering. And then, like, one of the keys for me was, when I do remember, to then not go into why did I not remember, and like, will I ever remember all the time, but just enjoy this moment where I actually did remember, and just rest in the ease of being. So that was one such things where I could see just my habitual tendency to look for what's wrong and what's not working, and what's wrong about me, and why am I like this, and what's wrong with society. And it's so tempting to then continue with the chatter instead of just, all right, actually, yeah. So, and then so the text, the media, we also have the teachings. I don't know if you saw the new app yet. We wanted to also share that today. We started a new app, and it's still a bit in beta testing mode, but we already have the download link on bright.how, the website. So and that includes a new short introductory course that we've done, where we talk a bit about the mainstays and give an introduction. And it's interesting because for me, I've gone through this, so to speak, so many times, and still, even for me, even though I'm like a teacher, so to speak, in this context, it's equally rewarding and deepening of my own practice for me. So you could say I have the perfect job for my own practice. And it's just this immersion, essentially, rather than being immersed in a world of description. We can immerse ourselves in an environment where open intelligence is what's being reflected, you could say. It's like being in a hall of mirrors, and everywhere we look and whatever we hear, everything is confirming and evokes the recognition of open intelligence. Yeah. Kati, do you want to riff along a little bit there?
Yes, it's wonderful to hear. I also love these texts. They're so evocative of the natural state. And obviously the teaching here in short moments is rooted in these ancient wisdom teachings. And yeah, the introduction, I think, from the moment, and I met Siti Rinpoche like many years ago, but from the moment of introduction to something about us that is so clear, so stable, indestructible, and always present, it's forever gaining confidence in that natural way of being, in that ease of being. That's also how we called that introduction course, Discovering the Ease of Being, because it really evokes and becomes more obvious that nothing within everything that appears and all life, basically, there is something to rely on. There's something to indestructible, and also something that is has a powerful wisdom and responsiveness, being able to relate with people, with oneself, and with others. So it is that gaining confidence, and Johan was sharing about the Four Mainstays, gaining confidence in that in that environment where there's that support for confirming. It's completely confirming that natural way of being again and again until it's automatic. That's the short moments practice. And yes, the short moments is emphasized because so we don't look for states, which is sometimes compelling to find, and just sharing this generally, but there's still this self-arising ease, joy, and these qualities that come about or are more obvious by knowing, by this increasing realization. And yeah, so that's what that's how we meet each week here and share our experiences and read text. Sometimes we also share presentations or yeah, just everything that confirms open intelligence and makes it more obvious. Yeah, that's the part.how. Yeah, we are considering even having these meetings in the app, but we can share about that more. That's where we find the app. Yes, exactly. This was the question here on that bright.how. Yeah.
Yeah, if you click on the button on top, like where you can sign up, you'll enter your email address and name, and then that brings you, it will send you an email with the link to the Apple and Google store, and also to a web, like a landing page after signing up where you can have those links and download them. And then you can also access both the community and the course on your desktop. So you don't need to use your phone for it. Like, yeah, if you prefer a computer, it works both ways.
So that would be a different account in like the Short Moments account.
We don't have an account for Short Moments. So if you already have an account on bright.how, probably best to use the same email address.
Okay, yeah, I thought I had created an account over there at Short Moments. So yeah, okay, got it. Thank you.
And if you
maybe the old app.
the old app,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
In that
That's
case, it doesn't
different.
matter. Yeah, it's which email address you use. It could be the same or a different one. That's a different.
But it's going to be a
platform.
different account. It's going to be a separate
Yeah.
account. Yeah. Okay, got it. Thank you.
We'll still be
Yeah,
posting in the old
ahead.
app this week, this month. Yeah. We have it open one more month, and then we're shifting over.
Great.
Would anybody else like to share, since we're at the Short Moments practice and the recognition? Some of you have been coming for quite some time. I'd just be super curious how your practice is going and feeling amidst everyday life. Anybody? Don't want to put anybody on the spot, so an open invitation.
I'll share a little bit. I'm the main caregiver for my father who has late stage Lewy body dementia. And so there's a constant struggle of emotions going on. He's 97. It's been my rock my entire life. And I know that we're coming, to the end. And so, and Lewy bodies is up and down and up and down and up and down. So we've been told 3 different times this past year that he was transitioning, but in my heart, I knew he wasn't. But I'm still hearing those words. And so I have to take those short moments on a regular basis. And I found that this practice, I've been doing it now for maybe 2 years. I was working with Jeannie Langfield, I think her last name is. I just know her by Jenny. And then she's in India now. So I feel a little bit of loss of that. So Nakia has been trying to work with us, but we can't seem to get the links right. And we last 2 weeks have missed each other. So I found that the group for me is very important, getting that reinforcement in the group. And sometimes it's hard for me to come to this class because of the timing and my dad's needs. But today I was open, so I was very excited. But it just helps me to understand I'm not alone, that I can take that moment and that's my true self, that I don't have to get attached to all that's happening around me and get that and allow that fear to grow further. I can just take that ease and just relax. I'm assuming I'm doing it correctly. I'm assuming that's how I'm supposed to handle the short moments, but regardless, it works for me. I love I've been with Jenny and then now Nikita, we've been, I think we've been using the surfing the tsunami text, which is remarkable to me. I found that very exactly what I need most of the time. So that's kind of where I am and what I've been doing, and any feedback or support I'm open to enhance this even more. I deal with agoraphobia and panic attacks and anxiety. I've had that since I was 3. And but I don't give up. I just keep going and trying. But with this intensity of my dad, it brings it on stronger. So I have to work harder. And so taking those short moments and just connecting to that space, even if it's for a very short time, is very helpful for me.
Thank you, Nance, for sharing. Yeah, it's beautiful to hear from you, and yeah, your experience. I mean, it's so precious at these tender times to have those moments where we're not alone. I think I may have shared this with you, but my mom passed last year, and after a few months of severe illness, she had cancer, and um, fortunately for her, it was then very quick by the time it was discovered and confirmed. But you know, just like being in that space with somebody, I know there is, of course, the caregiving and the being available, but then so much is going on for us, right? Like when we're there with a parent, with a loved one, and to I just felt always that like each moment that I can rest as that open-hearted, loving intelligence, it wasn't just for me, it was also like a, a contribution and support to my mom and the people around me. So it really is very, very precious, and of course it would be great to always have that, like be completely stable in it, and you know, which after practicing this for 18 years, I have felt pretty stable throughout the experience. But even then there is a constant deepening. Like it's going to be a year this week that we heard about the diagnosis, and um you know, and I can feel it's interesting, the memories bring the energy that I felt at the time, you know, the like the shock, the disbelief, and the, you know, just this can't be kind of energy, um and also there just in every moment of just allowing this, the natural flow, knowing that this like reaction is part of my human experience. It's there is nothing wrong with me for feeling all these things. Um, and in fact, I can totally allow them. And in that allowing, so much love had opened up. You know, anything that was left to resolve with my mom, which wasn't much, fortunately, but any like little ripples that there may have been, it just like it literally feels like it all lit up in warmth and light. So it is really precious to have the practice and also support. Um, yeah, to rest our mind and heart and body while we're in this kind of space. Yeah, thank you for sharing so openly with us here.
Thank you for sharing your words too. They help.
Mm. And just to say, your practice sounds great to me. You were asking for feedback. I think, you know, this is great, and I think just, you know, as much as you can be immersed in what you find supportive, whether that's groups, teachings, books, like I pulled this up as you were speaking here. Is this readable? Yeah, like this it was. I have that here on my desk as well. Even just to look at it, it feels like it's the the energy is there, and then there's also this one, you know, and I love just the graphic of this. That's the latest book, and you know, knowing like it's easy to think like this is some historical figure that lived 2,500 years ago, but it's actually a mirror. This is what actually is in the mirror. We just don't quite see it yet, but um It's much more accurate than most of what we perceive. And yeah, so just having these kinds of things, I like to have them around me and available to me. And so whatever you find nurturing and supportive is so perfect. Anybody else would like to share anything or any questions that you have for your practice? Katerina.
Yes, why not? For me, the practice is absolutely necessary. It's what I like better in this time. I really like not to be distracted. I have also the fortune to can have the time to just dedicate and not to have a lot of things to do. I think for me it's a fortune after a life very rather busy, with a lot of travel, a lot of activities. So now I am astonished by this wish to rest. That's it. To rest in what there is. It's really a miraculous gift that I have received, and I'm very grateful. And I start, even that is rather a change. I start even sometimes to be grateful to myself. That is something very, very new. Because I don't know why. I mean, that it doesn't matter, but it's happened and it touched me. I'm moved just to say it openly to you, because I don't know. It's like I'm ashamed about these new things that it was never. I didn't give myself the permission to say something like this. I mean, we have to be grateful to all what we have, we see, we receive. Like if I was somehow in another part of the panorama. I'm in the landscape. I'm a part of the landscape that I see, and this is very, very, very important for me. I notice, but maybe it's a question. There is a question there that for the moment is difficult for me. When it's more difficult to make decisions about to making decisions. Usually, my way to rest in this period at this time is to not think about. So it's like not take a decision, and this is somehow I'm a little bit afraid about thinking, of course, at the future, and not at the present. In the present, there is not this, but maybe because of the age and everything, the life. Say, if I had to decide, how can I choose make the right choice, resting in open intelligence and not just resting in open intelligence without any, I mean, you understand, without giving importance to the data that appears. Because so, at the same time, I know also that ultimately there is not a wrong choice. It can be a wrong choice, but we have to choose. So thank you very much for this opportunity. If for the people who don't know me, maybe you understand that I am Italian, but I, thank you for thank you.
Thank you, Katerina. So nice to see you here, and connect with you. Yeah, that is so beautiful. It reminds me of the metaphor of coming home after a long day at work and having nothing more to do, just basking in the sun. It sounds like you perceive the stage of your life a bit like that. After a busy life, now you can bask in the sun. And of course, um, that might need some adjusting after being busy, and probably also, being like the way I know you, being very skillfully busy and meaningfully busy. So then that becomes part of our identity and, just the way we are and move in the world, and what gives us maybe some sense of satisfaction and comfort, and we make decisions certain ways. So to just bask in the sun is it might just be a period where it's all about adjusting and letting that settle. So I've had times in my life where I clearly wasn't in a position to make genuine decisions. Like of course it wasn't that I was like incapacitated in some ways. Of course I could make day-to-day life decisions, but in terms of like what I want to focus on or other bigger feeling kind of decisions, I also noticed that it might not be necessary to make a decision right now. That's my decision. I don't decide today, and I can just make the most important decision, which is to continue to rest in the ease of being and trust increasingly that from that ease, clarity will arise. I like that metaphor of a pond or a lake when it's like muddy. We don't want to stir it with a stick because it will make it, more muddy, right? If you just rest, then the sediments settle, and the clarity of the water is revealed. And in that way, or in a similar way, we don't need to engage in all the disturbance or the ripples in our own mind and heart in order to find more clarity, which would have been, my old way of making decisions. Definitely would have involved a lot of thinking and planning and strategizing, which is still part, like when we're running a business, for example, that's part of it, is maybe looking at the numbers, or looking at processes and flow charts. So it's not that we don't do any of these things anymore, but maybe a more visceral or like direct way of sharing that for me is I can literally feel the tension and the headache when I focus so intensely on trying to find a solution to something, versus just taking in the information and seeing what emerges from that. So there is still this openness to take in the different sources of information and data and knowledge, but then instead of having to figure it out and process the data and information to arrive at a conclusion, I allow the insight of open intelligence increasingly to arrive through its own pure wisdom magic in a way at the decision. And sometimes that happens quickly and sometimes slowly. I have a stack of decisions with me that are yet to be made, and that some of them I really wish they would be made, because it keeps nagging, like there is this little voice, I should be doing something, but there are things I can speed up and there are things I can't seem to speed up. So yeah, I I think it's so good that you recognize this so clearly, and that you can give yourself that space just rest and see what emerges. It's a very different way of, for me also, like decisions that I made based on processing information and in a conventional way. Even if I made it, like there was often doubt before, during, and after the decision, whether this is really right or not, but maybe I'll just do it. And the beauty of this naturally arising clarity, it feels there is so much conviction. I think also partly because I know that whatever I choose, it's just a decision for now, and I can continue to rest as open intelligence and make a completely different decision the day after it's needed. I don't have this investment anymore that this decision will make me happy and fulfilled, and I need to hold on to it. There's just like one decision at a time, one moment at a time, and who knows? Who knows what the next day will bring, right? So it's very spacious, and it can be a bit nerve-wracking because I used to be really good at managing myself and my life. So to know that there is this more spacious, easeful way that also means I don't feel as in control as I used to feel. Is sometimes still, but definitely was much more so nerve-wracking, but over time it just became such a better life. It's so much better to not having to hold it all together. Like I literally had to get massages once a week because I was so tensed in my shoulders. Kati's smiling. She remembers that time. And and I don't any longer. I don't feel like I need to hold it all together. So it's self-held in whatever way it does. Yeah. So it's beautiful to hear how you're settling into this. It sounds just wonderful to me.
Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anybody else who'd like to share your experience or reflections? Good. Well, Kati, anything from you before we get to the end of our meeting? Not to the end, just to the end of the meeting.
Of the meeting, no, perfect. Yeah, it was nice to hear everyone share. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, we'll send out more details about the new app along the way. And yeah, love to see you there. And we'll send out this link to the email list as well. Just about how. Okay. Let us know if you have any topics for next time. And otherwise, yeah, see you in a week. Thank you all.
Good. Thank you, everybody. Nice to be together. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye bye.
You.